Ole! Okay, hopefully if you saw that little clip there, you saw that powerful performance by the Socceroos coming into the World Cup and how well they portrayed the country. What you're going to see in this lesson here is our Senge's learning organisation. I'm going to draw on that scenario of how the team united and developed over the course of the World Cup as a link to what we're going to look at in this business lesson. So follow on. Okay, so this lesson is going to look at this study design dot point about the overview of the principles of the learning organisation approach from Senge. And it's also going to look at the need to create a positive culture for change. So you're going to see that link from the previous lesson about developing culture. It's going to be portrayed for here about how we embed in our business a positive approach for cultural change in the future. Okay, so Senge's learning organisation theory. Okay, obviously we've got a picture here of him here. He's an American systems scientist and lecturer, okay, who published, now this is the famous book, you don't need to learn this one off by heart, but just know where it comes from. The Fifth Discipline, the Art and Practice of the Learning Organisation. So this came out in 1990. So relatively speaking, it's a more contemporary theory, and it's about how businesses continuously improve and learn so they can adapt to a very rapidly changing world. Okay, so the idea being that the business embeds within it continuous transformation and learning from their experiences. So he defined a learning organization as a place where people continually expand their capacity to create the results they truly desire, where new and expansive patterns of thinking are nurtured, where collective aspiration is set free, and where people are continually learning to see the whole together. Now, a bit of a mouthful there, but if you get the idea, it learns from itself. So this is your business and you apply this approach and this theory to it, is you're constantly learning and getting better and better and better. And if competitors come along, you would deal and respond to them and then take it another step. So this is a transformative business. This is a business trying to embrace change and be at the forefront of it, meeting new needs and being willing to take risks and push the boundaries. Okay, so a learning organization continuously learns from it. Sometimes you see this spiral picture about growth and development within the business. So that's the context where we're going to put these parts of the theory together. So Peter Senge suggests 5 principles that are necessary to create this learning organization, this idea that we're continuously learning and improving. So the 5 put together are systems thinking, mental models, shared vision, personal mastery, and team learning. And you're going to see, as in this picture here, how they all interlink together. Okay, now a bit of a mouthful. We're going to have a little anagram later on, a nice simple way of remembering that. But we're going to go on this journey now where I'm going to show you the team of the Socceroos and soccer in general alongside the business application. So we're going to have both of the bits together to hopefully help you remember this theory. Okay, so you can see here the 2 parts. We're going to look at this from a sports team perspective. I'm going to look at it from the Socceroos, but you could apply that to any sports team that you're part of. So whether it's basketball, volleyball, tennis, hockey, baseball, cricket, whatever it may be, rugby, AFL, when you think of a sports team that maybe you're part of, you'll go through these things at the end of each season as a way of hopefully improving for the following season. So at the end of each season, you might go, what did we do wrong last time? Where do we want to go now? Do we want to be premiers? Do we want to lead it next time? What is your personal approach in the team? What can you contribute? How can the team learn together? And how can we put systems in place around the team to make sure that all gets supported? So we're allowing for this continuous development approach to occur, and we can learn from the experiences we do. Now, if you can see, that's the links. We're going to go to this principles. What did we do wrong last time? We're going to challenge the mental models. We're going to challenge the assumptions we had before. Where do we want to go now? Okay, this is our vision. Where do we want to get to in a year's time or a period of time? What's our vision we're striving for? What do you personally contribute to the team? It's called personal mastery within this. How can you contribute your individual part to that growth process? How can the team learn together? So team learning. How do all of you combine to have your contributions at the right point so you win the game or you win the tournament, whatever it may be? And what are all the systems that help you? What about the coaches that are there? The playing fields, the the team support, the advertising that generates revenue to allow you to have coaching. All of those things combined are those things that are in place to allow this development to occur. Okay, so that's the application we're going to make. So let's take the first principle. First principle, mental models. Okay, so technically, this is the assumptions held by individuals and organizations are called the mental models. To becoming a learning organization, these models must be challenged. Okay, so we're challenging the old assumptions. So let's take the Socceroos first as the example. Maybe they didn't play so well beforehand. There was an assumption that we weren't good enough, that we don't have enough premier players to be able to succeed in the World Cup. And so the mental models could have been like very much down, that the assumptions are we're not going to be very good, we don't have self-belief, and we're not going to get anywhere. So when the coach comes along, he needs to challenge those assumptions. He needs to say, okay, yes, we can believe in ourselves. We are going to aspire to do something, and we're going to be really open about developing that. Okay. Now, clearly in a business, we can do the same thing. So we need to have an organization needs to create a culture of openness, inquiry, and trust, where employees are encouraged to challenge old assumptions and mindsets in order to feel empowered to create something new and better than before. So challenging mental models is about challenging those assumptions. Okay, we didn't do so well in the past. How can we now move on and get better? What were we doing wrong beforehand? What was our mindset that was wrong beforehand? What can we challenge about that to transform ourselves to be a better organization going forwards? The second principle is the shared vision. Okay, the idea being is that we have something shared about where we're heading and where we're going. So it's going to motivate employees to learn as it creates a common goal that provides the focus and the energy for learning. Where there's genuine vision, people excel and learn, not because they're told to, but because they want to. So when the coach of the Socceroos goes, okay, this is our vision. We're not just going to take a tokenistic part of the World Cup. We're going to have a powerful role and we'll be proud in what we achieve. And maybe we can make it into the next round or beyond. Okay. So that aspiration, that vision takes the team on a journey together. Okay. He articulates the vision and then the team comes along. We share that vision. We have belief and that the team wants to do well because they know what that common goal is they're searching for. In the same way, businesses can apply this. By having the leadership or management team set out a shared vision, this is where we're going, this is where we're going to head, then everyone can get on board with that. You create that culture where members want to achieve and we're aspirational about driving towards that common success. The next principle is personal mastery. So what we mean by that is about an individual within the organization being committed to self-improvement and becoming a lifelong learner. Okay, individual learning required through staff training, development, and continuous self-reflection. If the staff of business practice personal mastery, the performance of the business will also improve. Okay, now again, let's put that into the example of the Socceroos. This is about each individual becoming personal mastery in their domain. So the strikers continually focusing on how to improve their striking ability in front of goal, whether it be hitting the ball or taking spot kicks or penalties or whatever it may be. It's about the defenders working out their role within the time and practicing that as an individual, personal mastery, getting strength in that ability. The midfielders, personal mastery in their role. So individuals self-reflecting and training and working on their own ability so they can perform in the team. So research shows that most learning in the workplace is incidental rather than the product of formal training. Therefore, it's important to develop a culture where personal mastery is practiced. So the idea being, rather than just sending workers on training programs, if they know what they're heading to, they can work out what their individual role is within that, and they can aspire and get the skills they need to do to be successful in achieving that vision. So personal mastery. It's all about personal growth and learning aligned to this value, purpose, and vision which we're driving for. The next one of the principles is systems thinking. So systems thinking is about learning organizations using the method of thinking, this systems thinking, to evaluate the performance of the business as a whole rather than separate units. So it's about all of it combined together, all of the aspects of the business working harmoniously for that common goal. So in Senge's words, this is the discipline that integrates the disciplines, fusing them into a coherent body of theory and practice. It keeps them from being separate gimmicks or the latest organisational change fad, and without a systematic orientation, there is no motivation to look at how the disciplines interrelate. By enhancing each, exceed the sum of its parts. So, trying to make that a common example, if you think again of the Socceroos, it's not just the players, it's also the coach, it's also the groundskeepers getting the fields in good condition. It's about the nutritionists that go with, the massages that occur to make sure that the people in their best health and fitness to play. It's about organising their accommodation and the routes and everything else. So everything combined to allow that team to perform at its best. So rather than seeing it as little silos of activity, it's about creating a system where all of the bits interrelate together. So in the same way, in a business, we can be thinking, okay, not just of human resources and marketing and finance all doing their separate jobs. It's about them combining together to all achieve the common vision of the business. So the whole system is thinking together about how to achieve that vision. So a common approach was an interrelationship between the parts of the whole system to achieve that common goal. And then the fifth principle is team learning. So team learning is about the emphasis not on the individual, but this time on the team working together. Okay, the idea that individuals learn from each other and as a group together. So they're learning all together. They learn more quickly, problem-solving capacity of the business is improved, ideas are shared openly with trust. So if you think of this, the coach for the Socceroos would often get the team to practice together. We'll do a whole half game practice against some opposition in a practice match to test out everything. How does everyone interrelate? Do you read each other's passes? Do you know your role in the team? So the team learns together and problem solves its approach to certain oppositions it's going to deal with. So team learning together. In the same way, the business, you create opportunities for teams of creating people who are creating advertising campaigns to come together so they all learn from each other's experience, insights, and knowledge. So they all grow together as a team and address the vision we're driving towards. So as you can see, I've used this soccer analogy quite a bit, arguably one of the best players of our generation. Now, his team and the performance of Argentina in the final to win the World Cup embodied all of those principles. The idea being that they challenged assumptions that were seen as maybe an old team that weren't going to go anywhere. They challenged that to believe in themselves. They had a vision of this is Messi's final, and that it's last chance for him to host the World Cup. And so the vision was there to allow him to do that. Messi would have put countless hours individually fine-tuning his skills so he could perform on the day. The team would have been practicing certain plays together to make sure that all comes together, and the whole organization around that, the coaches, the development squads, the nutritionists, everything about the group would have come together to allow them to succeed on the day, and they got better and better learning from their experience. So we've got to remember these 5 principles, and our mnemonic here is Messi is the most valuable player on the soccer team. Mental models, vision, personal mastery, systems thinking, and team learning. So MVP, ST, is your mnemonic to try and remember these 5 principles, which you're going to need for the SAC or for the examination. So the most valuable player on the soccer team is your little story to go with it. You think of Messi, you think of the soccer analogy to try and draw it all together. Mental models, vision, personal mastery, systems thinking, and team learning. Hopefully you can put all that together, and that's Senge's learning organization model. So let's analyze a bit more about Senge's learning organization model. Remember, the idea being is that we're continually learning. We're aspiring to get better and better and better. And it's a never-ending process. So that's where the infinity comes from. So we're learning, we improve, and we learn again, and we improve, and we learn again. So continuously developing, continuously learning, having that culture of being willing to take risks, to learn together, have personal mastery, team learning. We're striving to adapt and respond to the environment, capitalize on everything, and be the main competitive advantage for our business succeeding over the other ones. So clearly, if you can embody that in the whole culture of the business, which is a big ask, okay, then you're going to have increased levels of creativity, innovation, and continuously striving to improve. Okay, we're going to be better than everyone else because we're continuously trying to improve. We're going to be more adaptable and flexible than other operators because we're going to be responding to things as they happen. So if anything comes in with a new competitor, we can respond, adjust, and go again. Staff motivation should increase because we want them to be involved. Remember, we've got team learning and personal mastery. We want everyone to play their part in this whole development process. That should be empowering. We're going to get more skills, and I'm part of something that's really successful. Hopefully, we're continually responding to everything and getting exactly what the customers want, so our quality of output should improve. And we're going to be seen as a much better business by the outside world because we're really people-focused, okay? We've become an employer of choice. People want to come and work for us because we've got this great mindset and culture behind us about continuous improvement. And then the people from the outside want to buy our products. So who wouldn't want to be associated from that? And remember, employer of choice means lots of people are wanting to join your business. So when you ever hire for someone, you've got a huge pool of candidates to choose from, and you can pick the best ones. Okay, so then again, it's reinforcing the image again of development and growth, etc. However, there are obviously some limitations when you're doing such a major cultural change where you want the whole business on board, not a single department. The whole business needs to embrace this for learning organization and continuous development. We've got to have personal mastery and team learning and the whole systems thinking set up. So this requires a big cultural change, and that can take time and money to achieve that objective. And if you can imagine, for a large business, that's going to be really hard to share all of these ideas and knowledge between all the members. You want everyone on board. So sometimes this is easier for smaller businesses to embrace that because you can control that and get everyone happening. Large businesses can be a big cultural seismic change, and that can take time. So hopefully you can see now how Senge's learning organization theory and all those 5 principles contribute positively to a business's culture of learning and its willingness to pursue transformation. Okay, you imbue a positive culture for change. Okay, so the business is all part of it. Why? Because what you're doing is supporting and encouraging people taking risks, pursuing new opportunities, embracing what's out there. They're going to build the skills and capabilities to evolve and transform and respond to the world around them and to succeed in that. And employees hopefully can be passionate about their jobs towards a shared vision. Okay, so this idea that being that we're continuously improving, that creates a very positive culture within the workplace. So Senge described learning organizations as places where people continually expand their capacity to create the results they truly desire, where new and expansive patterns of thinking are nurtured, where collective aspiration is set free, and where people are continually learning how to learn together. Everyone is in this together. Now, if you can think of sort of a current example, often Google comes to mind. If you've ever watched the movie The Internship, which is based around the model that they use to recruit people, okay, so I know it's a movie, but it's based on reality. You can see that energy in there, that people are willing to take risks. They're going to work together in teams. You're fostering that approach to expand the boundaries, that people learn from each other and aspire and respond to the environment and create new opportunities. You can feel it's a very dynamic, creative place, embodying all of these principles together. So you can see that in reality and how that's been allowed that business to be so successful and such a global leader in that industry. Okay, a worked example here, what we might see in a sample stack or in the end of year examination in this type of area. Okay, so one specific part of it is addressed here. So the question asks us to define the term mental models and then explain how the use of this principle can create a positive culture for change. So if you can think of it, it's got 2 parts to it. The definition and then the explanation, which is going to have more detail. So you can see the mark allocation appropriate for it. So first of all, we just need the definition. We've been asked for it. So mental models are the existing assumptions held by individuals and organizations how that a business should act, behave, and respond. And the idea being we're going to challenge them. Okay? And how can we use this principle in a positive culture for a business to become a learning organization? These mental models must be challenged. It's about creating a business culture of openness, inquiry, and trust, where employees are encouraged to challenge old assumptions and mindsets in order to feel empowered and create something new and better than before. This open-mindedness allows for new opportunities to be explored and embraced, creating a positive, open for change culture. Okay, so you can see how we put those together. Well scaffolded answer. Hopefully that's useful. Okay, so here we have hopefully a nice summary concept map which you can put all your learning together on one page. You can see it all together. So this lesson was all about Senge's learning organization. And you need to remember the 5 principles. Most valuable player on the soccer team. Okay, mental models, shared vision, personal mastery, team learning, and systems thinking. Okay, hope that helps. In our next lesson, we're going to look at low risk strategies to implement change.